Hey everyone, Ash and Rima here from Mass Effect Odyssey, and today we're bringing you another discussion video. Many people have speculated about how we will be getting to the Andromeda Galaxy, for example Wormhole, Black Ark, Relay, but the general consensus of the community is that the journey to Andromeda Galaxy will be one out of necessity, as a plan B in case the Crucible mission failed. But what if the journey to the Andromeda Galaxy had a different motivation? What if it was a journey of pure exploration? What if it was a civilian or scientific mission rather than a military or council project? So Rima's done a bit of research on this, so Rima's going to have a look into it and go through our discussion points, and then we'll discuss it as we go through. So, Rima.
Okay, so there are just several points that have kind of come out from the recent things that BioWare have released to us, so we're just going to have a little talk about it, and then hopefully it's not too heavy on evidence, because obviously this is based on like trailers and concept art, so it's not a lot to go by, but we'll just see how it goes. So point number 1 is related to the N7 Day 2015 trailer, and it's about how the tone and the theme of the trailer seems to strongly suggest that a central theme of the game is going to be about exploration and pushing scientific boundaries. Now this has been kind of confirmed by the developers that say that exploration is going to be quite important to their new game. But the trailer itself showcases the evolution of space travel and showcases astronauts and scientists. Shepard's monologue from the trailer is also very much about the urge of scientific curiosity rather than the need to travel due to some kind of galactic crisis, basically. And quotes include, "We are travelers, constantly having to move forward. We have no chance but to try for our insatiable curiosity, and you are that explorer now." The N7 trailer is also quite a departure from Mass Effect trailers in general. So Mass Effect 1, 2 and 3 all had trailers that were quite heavily using quite epic kind of like militaristic music. All of them had kind of some kind of firefights, showcased enemies, and also showcased explosions, and it had kind of like a bravado to it. Now, we did have the E3 2015 trailer as well, but this has nothing to do with our protagonist, though it does obviously showcase Master Andromeda. But the N7 Day trailer was very much more about, I guess it was more subtle in the way it did it, and it was more emotional than the other games have done. But it's obviously a teaser trailer, so we haven't seen a full trailer of Mass Effect Andromeda yet. And this kind of leads us on to point number 2, that the trailers for the Mass Effect 1, 2 and 3 are very much about Shepard and Shepard's journey, and you could kind of see that if you watch them back to back, you kind of see Shepard's journey of being a hero and a soldier. And Shepard was a soldier, a leader, and already quite a legend in the Alliance, and then eventually becomes a legend for the galaxy. But what little we know of the protagonist is that they're on a hero's journey, as Matt Walter said. They're basically going to be a nobody, and they have to kind of become a hero. Now, maybe it's because they didn't train for this. Maybe they're not even meant to be they're maybe just meant to not even be in that position, but something forces them to do it. So it's quite interesting to think that maybe right at the gate they're not even going to be a soldier. So design-wise as well, the color scheming and the designing of the outfits of the protagonists don't seem to actually follow any of the Alliance designs. Don't even seem to kind of follow any like militaristic design either that we've kind of seen in the game so far. Coloring-wise, they're actually most kind of like similar to Cerberus, which is a private organization. So it's interesting to see a departure from the designs that they've kind of used in the previous games. Point number 3 is that all the concept art for Mass Effect Andromeda seems to suggest a sense of exploration. For example, when you're wandering through a dark forest, they're taking ice samples from a frozen world and exploring abandoned or ancient buildings. And even the text shown in these concept arts show a need for exploration rather than combat. So you've seen scanning drones and personal mapping programs, and all the concept art we've seen, there's barely been any use of weaponry. Now, there is weapons in the E3 trailer, but that isn't our protagonist. There is obviously in the concept art of the 2 protagonists, you do see them holding weapons, but again, other than that, there's a very little use of weaponry in the concept art. Point number 4 is the Explorers Wanted posters that were used as part of N7 Day to kind of like, I guess, is it promote the game, or is it, I don't know, what was the point of those? They were just kind of like fun little pieces of concept art, weren't they?
Yeah.
But if you kind of take them as more of a promotion, as an in-game promotion, they're literally recruitment posters for an explorative mission into the Andromeda Galaxy. And I guess, is it out of the realm of possibility to actually think these posters were used to recruit explorers for a private mission? Now, if we're going on the sense that this was the Archon, as in the Arc Contingency Program, was the reason we go to Andromeda, it was meant to be a secret. There's no evidence in the Mass Effect 3 game that this was going on. So clearly it was meant to be a secret if they are planning to go to Andromeda as like a plan B. So I'm taking this very literal. Why would they have a need to have these posters? These posters are literally like, hey, we need explorers. Do you want to join our program? These almost seem like they're like for a company or some kind of like project rather than for a military secret mission as a last-ditch attempt to save humanity.
It seems, and we were kind of discussing it briefly last night, but it seems very public. Be saying, oh hey, we're going on this exploratory journey to a whole new universe and galaxy and stuff. And come join us. It doesn't seem like, it doesn't give that sense of panic like a lot of people believe that this ship left before the end of Mass Effect 3, when panic would probably be at its highest when a Reaper attack is reaching its like climax moment. So it seems very like tongue-in-cheek, very public to say, explorers wanted, we want to recruit you. So it does seem to aim more towards a private sector rather than a military force.
And I guess we have already stated, we've kind of said in previous videos that we thought in the N7 Day trailer that Shepard's monologue was basically a metaphor rather than a literal.
Yes.
We thought that it was basically Shepard signing off the trilogy rather than actually saying goodbye to the protagonist. But if we wanted to take it as literal, okay, it's very unusual, I guess, to say, because the game's meant to be so many 100 years, or it's maybe long after the trilogy, right?
Yes.
So I don't know. It almost seems like Shepard was talking a way of like kind of like signing off like more like a scientific mission. It wasn't in the way Shepard speaks. It's not. There's no urgency in the way that, oh, we're gonna all die if you don't do this. It's not the way you've heard Shepard talk in a monologue to their crew when they've like basically been like, we're gonna do it or we're gonna die trying. This is like literally like, we need to do this for humanity because this is what we do as humans. We need to explore. So it's a lot more like calm, the tone of the entire trailer. And we have known in the game that there have been like VIs of Shepard.
Yeah.
So we're gonna say we're taking this as a literal. Shepard's literally saying, like, signing off the protagonist. What if it's actually some kind of promotional thing rather than like
it's like a speech at a falling out parade.
Yes,
kind of
basically. But I still believe that that's more of a metaphor. It wasn't really meant to be an in.
Yeah, thing. No, it was definitely like a sign off to the original trilogy, and now it's a different person's or different characters' turn to
So that was like pulling at straws. But anyway, so point number 5 is that there have been private expeditions in the Mass Effect universe before. So long ago in 2017, there was a man called Victor Manswell who was kind of fed up with humanity's kind of like exploration of space. And this well before the mass relays were discovered. And so he decided he was a billionaire, so he funded a space project with around 300 people, which include like genealogists, anthropologists, geneticists, medics, sociologists, biologists, and even included some military experts to go on this like space explorative mission into the stars. Unfortunately, it ended in tragedy, and they ended up getting stranded on some planet, and then there was a whole thing with some Arsari crew. But it does say that there has been a history of private companies or private individuals wanting to kind of go out there, despite what, like, the Alliance and the Council, they want to kind of explore, and humanity's need to kind of explore. And that's kind of reminded me of maybe I don't know if you're a fan of the movie Avatar or not, but in that movie, it's a private company obviously trying to rape a planet, but other than that, you have Jake Sully's character who's basically sent out to act as a military personnel for a scientific crew. And maybe that's what we fall under. Maybe we're not completely a scientist, maybe we're not going to have that science background, but maybe we're not going to be gung-ho soldiers that are going out there as like a last-ditch attempt to save humanity. Maybe we're going out there to protect these people who are actually exploring. So maybe we're part of that kind of mission. So that's that point. And I guess the last point, I think, is which is something we will cover in a future video later on down the line, and we'll do it in a lot more depth, is the fact that if you think about the contingency plan, the Council never really believed in Shepard's belief in the Reapers. They definitely believe in Mass Effect 1. In Mass Effect 2, the Turian dude's still going, yes, Reapers. And it isn't really till Mass Effect 3, or maybe between Mass Effect 2 and 3, that they start to really believe that the Reapers actually exist and there's actually a threat to humanity. And then after the events of Mass Effect 3, or during it, they're definitely, panicking. So say we kind of go from the start of Mass Effect 3, or maybe at the end of Mass Effect 2, there isn't that much time for them to actually create a contingency plan. And that's giving them ample time. Now, many people have said that the big clue for the contingency plan is the Asari Councilor's words after Thessia, that we have to preserve civilization, or there must be plans made. I don't know the
plans.
quote.
Yeah, plans must be put in place, or be actioned, or something.
We discussed this, and we're going to talk about it in a video that's a lot more in depth. But there is, between the end of when Thessia falls and the end game of Priority Earth, that is not a lot of time. We were trying to work out how long we think. We were thinking it's probably a matter of weeks, not even that.
Maybe in a matter of days.
Yeah,
maybe.
It doesn't take long, because the next mission literally after that is the assault against the Elusive Man. And this is not including DLC, things like that, but we know that during the game, when you're speaking to Hackett, probably about mid-game, he's like, oh, well, it's been tough down here, Shepard, it's been tough, but you've been doing a good job, and, you've been doing a good job this last couple of weeks. So basically between the start of Mass Effect 3 and maybe mid Mass Effect 2, it's only been 2 weeks or something like that, not even that. So Mass Effect 3 timeline is quite short, and to consider that they created an entire contingency plan within a span of a few months is very strange. But again, we're going to discuss this in depth, yeah. So I guess the main drawback of this theory is the fact that this is a theory that suggests that maybe the people who are going to the Andromeda Galaxy were going because they wanted to go rather than they had to go. And the problem with that is that if they decided to choose to leave the Milky Way to explore the Andromeda Galaxy, that means that they were very well aware of what happened at the end of Mass Effect 3. That the outcome of the Reaper War is in everyone's consciousness, and that means it's part of the lore of Mass Effect Andromeda, which is a problem in a narrative point of view. I think that the best part of the arc contingency is the fact that it removes the need for any canon ending, whereas this may remove that element. But other than that, there's nothing saying that we're going to the Andromeda Galaxy as part of a contingency plan, as we're going as part of a military or council-led operation. We could just be going as scientists, as explorers, and going back to that kind of breaking it down to the game mechanics, it's just going to be an open world that we kind of get to explore and create outposts, things like that. So
basically,
that's it.
Yeah, I was going to say, because basically kind of the long and the short of it is it's a case of maybe wanting to go and explore rather than needing to go to find a new home, essentially. That's the TLDR ending. So let us know what you think in the comments below. Again, this was kind of a theory, but not a full-blown one, as it were. This is kind of a discussion that kind of turned into a video. So let us know what you think. If you've got anything to add on, again, please do. And as always, you can subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all things Mass Effect, and you can help the channel to grow by sharing the video too. Again, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again very, very soon.